Well met. I am Escoffier, Patissiere Supreme and Master of Precision Gastronomy. As an esteemed guest of the divine, you deserve the finest cuisine Teyvat has to offer. I hope my work is to your satisfaction. If you have an interest in the culinary arts, allow me to introduce you to the wonderful world of haute cuisine. I just hope you're mentally prepared for the undertaking. I don't tolerate a quitter. Know of any new orchestral pieces? I like to swap out the background music in the kitchen once in a while. It's a great way to find new inspiration. An important part of cooking is making sure the ingredients absorb the flavors in the dish. To that end, a chef must be able to wield a knife with the same level of precision as a surgeon. Practice makes perfect. Even the most unassuming ingredients can produce astounding flavor. But unlocking that potential takes a keen sense of smell, a refined palate, and an open mind. Humid air filled with the rich scent of leaves and earth. A day like this calls for Palui lotus fish soup. The feeling of the warm sun as it burns off the moisture in the air. I'm sure I can capture it in a dish. I just need to strike the right flavor combination. I bet I could put ingredients in the snow instead of a freezer. The sunlight is so bright, like a dish with sharp notes of citrus, a foam made from berry leaves, and a hint of sugar. Not a bad idea. Still half asleep, huh? Here, have a freshly baked sea salt croissant and a canepa berry pommier, with a cup of Buell fruit tea. Breakfast of champions. There was a time when the importance of lunch was overlooked, but modern society places a much greater emphasis on self-care. So, now we realize that nutrition without lunch is like a symphony without strings. Utterly lackluster. So, let's not waste another second. Time to gather some fresh ingredients and whip up something nutritious. The final meal of the day should be given the same level of care as a grand banquet. Even for just 2 or 3 dishes, all the prep should be finished by 3 in the afternoon. Huh? Then you don't have time to make something? Oh, well, it is well past 3, you're right. But don't worry, I wasn't expecting you to cook at all. I prepped the ingredients hours ago. Just sit tight and get ready to feast. Eating a small amount of dessert before bed can help you sleep. Here, have some of this cherry blossom and grilled apple-flavored light sugar pudding. It's low in sugar, but if you want my advice, don't get too caught up in the number on the scale. And anyway, if you ever need to balance your diet, I can make you something nutritious that doesn't taste like dirt. I carry the title of Patissiere Supreme, but that doesn't mean desserts are the only thing I can make. I respect those who dedicate themselves to one specialty, but I don't like the idea of boxing myself in. I'll try any ingredient from anywhere in the world. All I want is to push the limits of culinary innovation. Extracting and employing all facets of flavor. That is the core philosophy of my school of cooking. In practice, this means I need a whole arsenal of cooking utensils. Whenever I leave my home kitchen for an extended period of time, most of my luggage is filled with carefully wrapped cooking equipment. Navia likes to joke that I'm more armed than the Special Patrol. But ever since I commissioned the Fontaine Research Institute to create the all-spectrum multi-use cooking mech, cooking on the go is a lot easier. As some ingredients start to spoil, others are just beginning to sprout. That's pretty much a metaphor for cooking as a whole. It's always evolving. Classic recipes are valuable, but that doesn't mean we should be confined to that era. Of course, innovation needs to be thoughtful. Otherwise, you might end up with abominations like lavender melon cream macaroni or Jueyun chili-infused Earl Grey tea. At the very least, you need to know where to draw the line. A chef should strive to give their customer the best experience. But when it comes to critique, the customer isn't always right. Some people are born with a less refined sense of taste. others don't care about the subtleties of a dish, much less the intricate combination of presentation, smell, and taste. You, on the other hand, are a special case. You're detailed, perceptive, well-traveled, and someone who has dined with the Archons themselves. As such, only you have the right to critique all aspects of my work. If you think there's something off with one of my dishes, just let me know. I won't take offense. I don't know much about how visions work, but that hasn't stopped me from using mine in the kitchen. It's like I always say, cooking is a science. There are so many flavors waiting to be discovered. I know some monsters look disgusting, but finely chopped and ground into powder, their flavor can be incredible. Without my vision, getting my hands on unconventional ingredients like that would be precarious to say the least. Oh, and best of all, I'm basically a walking freezer. The device on my back is called the Self-Adapting Movement Signal Tracking Support Mech. It's a similar piece of tech to the all-spectrum multi-use cooking mech. It's easy to control, efficient in the kitchen, and can even read and respond to common movements. Many people think it looks like a tail and even call me a demon chef. If I'm honest, I wish I had the power to cast certain cooking abominations into oblivion. So, hey, if the shoe fits... If I could create a dessert better than Gâteau de Bourg and make it to Lady Farina's satisfaction, I think my next step would be to visit every nation in Teyvat and cook for the Archons. That's how I get to the next level. I might even be able to get a taste of each Archon's signature dish. Oh boy, would that open my eyes to a whole new world of gastronomy. Early in my career, I worked at a small restaurant in the Vasari Passage. One day, entirely out of the blue, Lady Farina decided to dine at our restaurant after a performance. As I was scrambling around the back, a customer asked to meet the head chef. So I rushed out to their table, knife still in hand, and completely froze. Because there I was, standing face to face with Lady Farina of all people. I knew I had to make something special, and it was like my instincts took over. I came up with a lily sugar-glazed opera cake, and Lady Farina actually liked it, and said she would remember me. I barely slept a wink that night, and the very next day, there was a position waiting for me at the Palais Ramonia. After that, Lady Farina gave me the title of Patissiere Supreme, and said, when it comes to confections, I was worth a whole army of patissiers. That gave me a lot to live up to. So I shut myself away to hone my craft. And, well, it seems like I missed a lot of important events in the meantime. Lady Farina doesn't even live in the Palais Ramonia anymore. Oh, I don't really understand what happened. But I do know this. Lady Farina will always be the most important benefactor of my life. She only has to say the word, and I would go work as her personal chef in an instant. No compensation necessary. My parents took me to the Hotel de Bourg for the first time on my 5th birthday. I remember I found this hat on the ground. It was beautiful and carried the intense, warm aroma of roses. Following that scent, I was able to find the owner and, well, that scent is Navia to a T. So warm and sweet, and after all these years, not a thing has changed. I invite her over for afternoon tea whenever I have the chance. Every second we spend together is pure delight. Except for the fact that she's still the sweeter the dessert, the better kind of person. But, oh well, you have to pick your battles. And anyway, taste is personal, I guess. As a professional reporter with impeccable writing skills, Charlotte has a lot of clout in the culinary world. Her flavor descriptions are so detailed and her photography skills are unmatched. She can whip up a food editorial in the blink of an eye. If I have a new dish that I want to advertise, inviting Charlotte to try it out is never a bad idea.
nurse, huh? She's a lovely person, and of course, it's just, her sense of taste is, in a word, unique, which I completely understand and respect. I've tried my best to explore flavor through her perspective, but my biggest takeaway was that she could star in an assassin film. Seriously, try her milkshake sometime. Absolutely deadly. His Grace is polite and steadfast, a true old-school gentleman at heart. Still, eating the food at the coupon cafeteria? Now, that was a cruel and unusual punishment indeed. You might not know this, but Lynette is actually a member of our dessert tea party. She and her brother were frequent performers at Hotel de Boer, so we saw each other quite a bit. In the beginning, she seemed distant and cold, but once I worked up the courage to invite her to the tea party, I realized that her emotions are as rich and varied as a plate of rainbow macarons. When she likes a particular dessert, her ears flutter back and forth, and if she doesn't like it, her tail droops down. Wait, don't tell me my tail does that too. I've only ever seen her from a distance, and one time at that, but I will never forget it. For a while, I cooked as if she was going to taste every dish. I mean, imagine the consequences of disappointing someone like that. Talk about motivation. It was a great scare tactic for my apprentices as well. All it took was a, "You think you can serve this to Miss Arlecchino and live to tell the tale?" It's weird though, Navia seems to think she's not as terrifying as she looks. But I don't know. Did you know that food-inspired scent formulation is a popular field in perfumery? Miss Emily has helped me learn a lot about extracting fragrances and aromas. I feel like I have a whole new appreciation for the dynamic between smell and taste. I hope I can use it to my advantage one day and use fragrance to unlock a whole new sensory experience. As for Miss Emily, it's just really nice to have someone who appreciates a scientific approach. Oh, Veressa. The fruit from her orchid is amazing. Biting into one is like being transported to a lazy summer's day. She could charge me an extra 20% and it would still be worth it. So I always treat her to a meal after every purchase. Her appetite is astonishing. It may look like she scarfs it all down in one bite, but if you actually talk to her about the food, it's obvious she appreciates the subtle details. In other words, she has the appetite and palate to back it up. I love serving food to people like that. There is a saying in Liyue, "Beyond every mountain lies a higher mountain." But when it comes to Shangling and me, it feels more like I was holed up in a cave and she dragged me into a new world. She uses techniques I've never heard of and chooses ingredients I could never anticipate. Her dishes seem to redefine what I thought was possible. You can't even analyze them within the framework of classical Fontanian cooking. Meeting her has convinced me that staying cooped up in my kitchen isn't the answer. I need to go out and explore what other nations have to offer. For me, food is far more than a source of nutrition or sustenance. It's the star of the most important ritual in our lives. A great dish can give us hope, joy, and strength. The act of cooking is like the figure of the snow-winged goose. There's a certain grace and elegance to it. It's an art form that takes a lifetime to master. For many people, the barrier to appreciating good cuisine is not a lack of aptitude, but lack of time and mora. For me, part of a chef's duty is prioritizing cost-effective ingredients in recipe development. Haute cuisine doesn't have to be inaccessible. It should be enjoyed by all. Of course, that's far easier said than done. And when I first started out, I completely hit a wall. But that's what inspired me to pursue precision gastronomy. The tenets of precision gastronomy are analysis, extraction, and replication. First, you perform a quantitative analysis to determine the elements needed to achieve a certain flavor profile. Then you extract those elements from more cost-effective ingredients. The goal is to turn expensive dishes into attainable ones. That means using all sorts of unconventional tools in the kitchen. But that's business as usual for me. In theory, precision gastronomy can do more than just reduce the cost of a dish. It also forces the chef to get creative and innovate. Of course, I'm not doing it out of some desire to become the best in the world or earn some other superlative title. I'm not naive enough for that. My goal remains unchanged, turning haute cuisine into a cuisine for all, while reinventing flavor as we know it. My ideal life is being surrounded by pleasant music and having ample time to explore promising flavor combinations with a fellow food enthusiast by my side to serve as a taste tester. That's what I'm saving up for, at least. As for my future sous chef, ingredient procurer, and taster of my dishes, I happen to already have someone in mind. Hey, why are you avoiding eye contact all of a sudden? You strike me as someone who appreciates good forging. Then get a load of these knives, all forged with different techniques and featuring intricate patterns on the blades. Some are swirled like a rolled cake, some are modeled like a thick jam, and others shimmer like a gemstone. Not to mention, the feel in the hand is so different for each one. Some glide through ingredients like butter, others chop with short, sharp beats, and a few even seem to vibrate like a violin string. Each one has a unique charm. A branding consultant once advised me to create a so-called investable persona to attract more funding and help me reach greater culinary heights. But I'm terrible at acting. So I told him to just record the way I work and interact with my apprentices in real life. But I'm not sure the film had the intended impact. People don't seem focused on my food at all. I've tried most of the traditional cuisine Tibet has to offer. So now my focus is on the unconventional and the unexpected. My favorite recipes are the ones that turn an old classic on its head. In fact, if you want my expert opinion, you have infinite potential in that regard. I'm really looking forward to your future creations. Kinda bland? Just okay? I've had worse. Comments like that are my worst enemy. Flavor is everything, and if a dish fails to deliver, it's going straight in the trash. Wow, incredible! You have a gift. I should teach you everything I know as soon as possible. Your culinary potential is off the charts. It's not bad, just forgettable. I know someone of your talent can do better than this. Back to the drawing board, I think. I look forward to the new and improved version. Friends tell it like it is, so here's the truth. If one of my apprentices served this dish to me, I'd turn it upside down on their own head. For you, though, I'll finish it and then give you a thorough evaluation. I hope you take my feedback to heart and learn from your mistakes. Out of consideration for your diners and your own taste buds, dig a little deeper next time. Esteemed traveler, you are the ultimate variable of Teyvat, the one who brought a unique flavor to this world. A birthday celebration in your honor calls for a feast with 80 dishes at least. 4 meat for a wild game, 4 pastry, and 2 soup dishes just to start. Still, gorging on food is no way to dine. It's a disservice to your health and to the dishes themselves. Thus, we shall just have to celebrate your birthday over the entire week. 10 dishes a day should do it. I want you to appreciate each one to the fullest. A culinary symphony awaits. My senses are sharper. It feels like the fragrance, color, and texture of food are much more defined. Perfect. This should help me cook with even more precision. Mastery isn't just about raw strength, but learning to control and account for different variables. I can feel myself getting better at that by the day. I can see it. The golden point in time when form and flavor combine for maximum effect. the most efficient pathways for the transmission of flavor, the subtle acoustics as you bite into a dish, and how they can enhance that experience. Thank you so much. With your inspiration and support, I now have what it takes to extract the finest flavors nature has to offer and redefine the very limits of culinary perfection. And after that, I'll find a new peak to strive towards.